We usually picture early humans running from saber-toothed cats or towering bears, but the reality of what hunted our ancestors was far more reptilian. The absolute largest animal to regularly prey on early humans is a close relative of a creature that still patrols the waters today, the crocodile. Specifically, two prehistoric giants dominated the ancient landscape. First, there was Crocodylus thorbjarnarsoni, and then its slightly younger cousin, Crocodylus anthropophagus, a name that literally translates to human eater. We look back at early hominins as resilient, clever problem solvers in a harsh world. To these ancient reptiles, our ancestors were nothing more than a routine item on the menu. These swimming tanks ruled the waterways of ancient Africa between 5.3 and 1.8 million years ago. They reached unbelievable dimensions. The largest specimens grew to over 25 feet in length and packed on a staggering weight of more than 2.5 tons. To put that into perspective, that means these reptiles were heavier than a modern, fully grown hippopotamus, and they were draped in thick, classic crocodilian armor. These dense osteoderms acted as a biological shield, rendering them virtually invulnerable. Their most terrifying feature, however, was located right on their skulls. Both species sported distinct devilish horns, protruding above their eyes and ears, likely used to increase their perceived size during territorial disputes. Our highly vulnerable early ancestors had to physically coexist with literal armored, horned monsters in their daily environment. Back then, this region of Africa was covered by an expansive network of deep lakes and rivers. Early hominins, like Homo habilis, were entirely dependent on these exact same waterways. The deep, murky waters provided massive amounts of cover, allowing a 2.5-ton predator to completely conceal its body right near the shoreline. When a thirsty hominin got too close, the massive crocodile used its powerful tail muscles to launch a lightning-fast vertical ambush. The prey was snatched before they even knew what was happening. The very environments that provided early humans with the essentials of life were simultaneously the sites of their most violent deaths. You might be wondering how paleontologists know these specific attacks took place millions of years ago. The answer lies in the direct physical proof left behind on fossilized hominin bones. Fossils recovered from the area show that the slightly smaller Anthropophagus crocodiles left deep, violent bite marks right on the leg bones of early humans, perfectly aligning with ambush-style dismemberment at the water's edge. But there is a chilling forensic paradox here. Despite being the undisputed apex predator of the environment, the absolute largest species, Crocodylus thorbjarnarsoni, left 0 bite marks on any human fossils. The terrifying reason for this missing evidence comes down to physical volume. The massive size of the predator meant our ancestors weren't bitten or chewed, they were simply swallowed entirely whole. To understand how easily this could happen, look at the relative size disparity. A 25-foot crocodile hunting a small, early hominin is the biological equivalent of a modern saltwater crocodile hunting a French bulldog. The total absence of physical evidence from the largest species is, paradoxically, the clearest proof of their overwhelming dominance. But the very traits that made these mega crocodiles invincible predators eventually sealed their fate. During the Pliocene epoch, the climate began to wildly fluctuate. Resources dwindled, and the stable environment these massive reptiles relied on began to break down. Maintaining a giant, heavily armored body comes with strict thermal requirements. These crocodiles desperately needed expansive, deep waters just to cool off and prevent themselves from overheating. They were also caught in a metabolic trap. Sustaining 2.5 tons of muscle requires an immense, continuous intake of calories, a nearly impossible task as prey species migrated away or died off. As the relentless global climate shifted, their essential, expansive deep-water habitats slowly dried up into shallow pools and baked mud. The extreme biological stats that made them unstoppable hunters had quietly boxed them into a highly fragile, inflexible ecological niche. Meanwhile, their smaller crocodilian cousins thrived. They required a fraction of the daily calories and could comfortably survive in the shrinking, shallower waters. Early humans survived too. Using their perceptive nature and growing intelligence, our ancestors learned the environment, recognizing and actively avoiding these dangerous, deep-water ambush zones. Unable to adapt to the changing world around them, the giant horned crocodile slowly starved out. By 1.8 million years ago, they were completely wiped from the Earth. In the brutal math of deep evolutionary time, being the biggest, most heavily armored monster isn't a guarantee of survival. It is often a death sentence. The monsters don't win, the adaptable do.